Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for invitation. My paper will be mostly the nice pictures from the Bohemia. In Bohemia, the sources for the study of pagan conception are very fragmented due to the relatively early acceptance of Christianity in the 9th century in the context of Middle Europe, and also due to the little interest that archaeology has shown on this interdisciplinary topic for the most of the past years. It is a contrast, for example, with Poland. For a long time, the study of pagan cult sites was not so popular subject in Bohemia due to the positivistic approach of most scientists due to the ambiguity of the interpretation of archaeological sources and the subject, and due to absence of preserved wooden structures and wooden subjects, as for example, idol, as in the north in Poland and Germany. I will concentrate on 3 or 4 interesting sites with the important finds connected with the pre-Christian belief, with the important impact of our understanding of paganism or concrete rites of passage or rites. The main places are Rostoky near Prague, Kouřim, Prague, Malá Strana, and Nový Vigil. The main information I published about most of the sites in 2018, and I can show you the article, and there is sometimes some more information. We started with the photos of very nice Kouřim idols, which will be on the next part of presentation. I started with the map. It is a map from 2017, and it is also in this article. And you can see only the position of the most important sites, as Rostoky near Prague, north of the Prague, and this eastern site is a position of Hilfort Kouřim. You can see that the number of the cult places and finds of idols are very few. It is about 9 sites in Bohemia. And now something to Rostoky near Prague. Rostoky is a very famous settlement area. It is situated on the left bank of the river Vltava. It is an area about 2.5 kilometers long, and it is very important for the Prague type pottery culture. It means the culture is connected quite often with the early Slavic population in Bohemia. It was excavated in 80s. There is a published book, and again in 2006 to 2009, we made excavation with Martin Kuna, and this new part of excavation is not published yet. And but this very nice situation I will speak about. It is published in Ukrainian language once, and once shortly also in this article. It is a situation on the south part of the settlement area, and it is one normal house, number 1206, and under the bottom of the house is a miniature house, and eastern wall is the same for both of these archaeological features. It looks that they are contemporary. You can see details of these small stone urns. This urn is situated, opened to the west side, and it is the only different from normal urns all the owns, we have 330 in Rostoky, are opened to the south direction. Our interpretation with Martin Kuna is that this miniature house is some trace of some special ritual which was done and could have protected all settlement or only part, some new part of the settlement in this area. It is we made some special analysis of proteins. We try to find some blood, but we don't find anything. And this small urn was not any fire. That's why it is only symbolic urn. Now you can see the situation a little bit better on the next slide. You can see plan with a normal house with the urn situated to northwest corner with the complete pot of Prague type culture. It means undecorated, very simple pot, and it is a disrupt by some Linnean dig from 60s or something. We don't know exactly. And you can see the position of small house in the under the bottom of the normal house. It is a good visible on the profile. The evidence of rite of passage, it probably could relate to communication with the ancestors and to ensure their magical protection for a new settlement or its new part. West direction could have been connected to the word of ancestor because west is quite usual as the direction of the land of dead men. The last possibility of interpretation is the representation of soothing of dyads. I mean forefathers and domesticos of the terms of Dietmar of Merseburg, or dětky in later Dalymil's chronic. That's why if you have some new idea, all the situation have not any analogy in all the Slavic milieu. We try to find it and nothing up to now. And now something to Prague Malá Strana. You can see aerial view to Malá Strana. You can see the large church of St. Michel and Baroque church and the position, I don't know if you see it, of Rotunda of St. Wenceslav. Prague Malá Strana is the suburb of Prague Castle, fortified in early medieval time. And this Rotunda of St. Wenceslav was digged in, I think, 10, 15 years ago by Jarmila Čiháková, and it is dated to the 11th century. Under the bottom or situation level of this Romanesque church was the small circle structure, which is interpreted as memorial stone church number 1. You can see this brown circle here, and under this situation is a stratigraphy of wooden structures, which are not circle but rectangular. On this plan, you can see a grave of infant, baby, as a foundation sacrificed in axis of the wooden building, predecessor of the stone church. An exceptional building intended for celebration of both maybe cultic or secular nature. We are not sure. I can see that Jarmila Čiháková interprets the wooden predecessor of the building with this sacrifice as a very important elite building, or rather profane nature, and she does not dare to decide for the following building if it was sacred one or just socially exclusive profane building. It is dated to the before the 940, on the beginning of the 10th century. I can only say some questions, as was at least the last wooden building related to the pagan beliefs, or was the old ritual used in a profane building already coexisting with the Christianity? Archaeology could not provide clear evidence. How common is the phenomenon that shortly after the conversion, the residence of member of the elite would be replaced by a public church, or at least a private one, in the case of the church number 1? I can't say any response which was only one possibility. You can see detail here on the grave of the infant, which was preserved here, and we have no so many situations with this sacrificed, a child sacrificed. Only one more in Malastrana, I think. It's all. And now something about Kouřim. Kouřim is the hill fort situated nowadays 1 hour from the Prague by car in the Kolín region. It is a very large stronghold, about 40 hectares in area. And for us, it's very important that it is divided to three parts, and the middle parts is parts with some cult area. And elite burial ground. You can see it on the picture. There is the position of the burial ground near the lake Libuše. Kouřim is dated to the 9th and first half of 10th century at all. Now we have details of the situation. You can have some color plan here. This situation with the lake is specific because it is fortified inside, some smaller fortified wall and ditch. Ditch is 2 meters deep and 4 meters wide. And if you see the arrow, this arrow shows the place with post hole in half of a ring structure, which could be place with some idols, but we are not sure, of course, because there is no revision of original documentation, and I can't say after the publicated sources if it is all these post holes are contemporary or not. It is a problem of the site with more phases of settlement. That's why it is some problematic point. And you can see also some very specific rock stone near fortification of Kouřim Hill Fort. It could be also some place of some sacrifices or something, and near this rock stone were found 3 or 4 graves by Milšole. And downstairs you can see the reconstruction, ideal reconstruction of a long hall, which has about 90 meters in long, and this hall is interpreted as a hall for festivity, sometimes also as a pagan hall, similar to Kontina in the Poland. But it has no normal parallel, but only one in Norway, where the building is not 90, but 85-meter long. That's why it could be in some connection with this type of building. And now something about the idol. This idol is from sandstone. It is only 7.5 centimeter high, and it has 2 lines of decoration. The first most important line is with 4 faces. 2 of these 4 faces are surely male, with braided and bearded. And you can see this one, which has beards braided into the 2 braids, similar as a Scandinavian bone figure. You can see it. For us, it's very important that we have 3-dimensional scanning model made from Vysoká škola technická in Prague, and we have also some another type of scanning you can see later. The idol is decorated with these 4 faces, and 2 are really male. The 2 other could be female, but we are not sure. Lower frieze had originally 6 faces, but only 2 faces are complete preserved. You can see it here. And the idol has originally some wooden part on the top, probably some hut. Or it could be changed during some various celebration. I interpret this idol as that the first line is the symbolized the word of God, or one concrete polycephalic God, and the second line is interpreted as a symbol of word of people, or word of elite, maybe rulers, because it has they had headbands, very important detail on the lower frieze, and it is possible also that it is some word of pagan priests, if they were some. In Bohemia, we are not some written sources about it, as a special social, privileged social group. The very important analogy is from Sutton Hoo in East England. You can find it is originally it is a scepter. It is also small find, and it is originally touchstone, but it has some new characters as a stuck or a bronze ring and so on. I think that that it is very important that they made some copy of the idol of the scepter from Sutton Hoo. It is interpreted this grave with inhumation is under the large barrow with the ship is interpreted usually as a grave of King Redwald, which was died in 623 on the first third of 7th century. Because it was very, very terrible how to prove authenticity of the idol. We tried with Michal Cihla do some traceology of the idol, and it is something new which is unpublished. The On the picture, you can see shaping the facial part of the idol with point, special tool, similar to Mikulčice tool found and used in 9th century. You can see some another scanning, photogrammetry scanning, which do Michal Cihla. And this small arrows shows the direction of sharpening or direction of striking. And the conclusion of the traceology excavation is that all the idol is made by early medieval technology and with help of early medieval tools. And we find another tool which could be the same as tool with help of it was made Kouřim idol. And it is from Sklabina, from some hot find of iron tools. And this hot find is dated to the 9th century. That's why it is for us very important. And on this picture, you can see the procedure of strikes with tools that allowed to create plastic smaller heads with headbands. Yeah, you can see some detail of it. We can say that a scepter from Saturn, who is as a symbolic subject, is interpreted in the framework of symbols of power, ancestral portrait of ruling class in the Kingdom of East Anglia, and sometimes other variants. Its possessor was distinguished by access to power, which the object embodied. Deified ancestor attained a specific sacred status, and with the help of the artifact, bestowed it on the new king, new ruler. I think that something from this is possible to connect with the Kouřim idol in the sense that there must that had to be some sacrifice, some ritual, which would also give some special characters or special power to the some duke or some priest or some person who do this ritual. Kouřim was a Celtic center of supra-regional importance, as well as Prague castle with the stone ritual throne for intronization of Přemysl dukes through end of 9th to 11th century. And we know about it something from Vincentius or Cosma Chronicle. The only parallel with the specific composition of lines or friezes are brooch idol in stone, but it is an idol monumental, of course, and how Kolík said, it is some discussion about the authenticity of the idol, but I agree with the scientists Andrzej Pletersky and others that brooch idol is original work of early medieval time because of, for example, the picture of the horse, which has some details of sabre, which are in realistic depiction of the situation of 10th century, for example, or 10 maybe beginning 11th century. And now some new find which is unpublished from Nový Bíjor. It is a gilded striped from the belt with a depiction of deity with the similar finds, some analogies there are pendants from the Baltic region and Moravia. It is a very pity that the analogy from Baltic region, this second pendant, number 2, is without exact locality. It was on eBay. It was some crimi situation, but you can see that the idea is very similar, and in the same place where this pendant from Baltic region has some animal heads, 3 pairs of animal heads, the Moravian ones have only volutes. It is some simplified type of depiction. This Moravian find is from Hluk. It is not far from Uherské Hradiště, and it is was found on barrow field. It means on burial ground, and Luděk Galuška interpreted this depiction as a depiction of god Veles. I am not so exact. I think that I can't say really it is Veles or not. But very important is that there is some tradition, this Moravian find, which has some more simplified variant in Olomouc also, is dated to the second half of 8th and first half of 9th century. And our strape end from Nový Bydžov is from second half of 8th century, the same time. And it is possible that this find from Baltic region could be a little bit earlier, but without any exact site and some other information. We are not, we can say only 7th, 8th century, I think, at all. That's why it is quite interesting that we can find some new find, which could help us with the understanding of paganism, but it is without the name in every case. And downstairs you can see the horse head published a long time from Tismice Hillford, but we have no exact information of the site, of the position on the site, and preliminary it is dated to 8th, 9th century, but without sure. And I only say that the study of material aspects of paganism in Bohemia could bring some new details, even without new finds of cultic places. I am convinced that new cult sites will be found if future research focus on this problem. They could be in area of earlier Hillfords, or in its vicinity, as for example, this Tismice, which has, Hillford has only 21 hectares. That's why it is a very large area. And maybe also under the earliest churches, such as Prague Castle and Virgin Mary Church, which was built probably on some older graves, maybe cemetery. This type of feature may not be captured by minor research rescue. It is not possible. The era of compact pagan belief ended in the beginning of 10th century in Bohemia, probably. The Christian versus pagan conflict era, as well as coexistence of both systems, started somewhere in the first half of 10th century, and it is, I think, maybe all 11th century long. In this era, it is a this era need various, sometimes multiply variants of interpretation of archaeological situation, and it is not easy. That's why it is this complication that I can say not only one variant of explanation. Mám ještě nějaký čas? Jo, tak on my presentation, you can see also one example of holy mounds, which is not famous Hříb. It is known as a mount from Czech Středohoří, Kletečná, but in German the name is Donnersberg, pardon, Donnersberg. That's why it is some specific, quite high mount, and on this top of the mount was found two small hoard finds of iron tools, which are not exactly dated to 100th of year, because it is only tools. That's why it could be from 8th to minimally 10th century, but it could show some similar situation in small measurement, I think, as a Klášterov in Moravia and so on, and it could show that this hoard find was put to land as a ritual hoards. And I have one map with the names, local names connected with the names of gods and also Hollywood, Svatobor. You can see that it's not some high number of the names, but there are no in Middle Bohemia where the Christianity started. I think that it is quite interesting situation, but only the name Mokošín, which is on East Bohemia, is the name which exists in 11th century in written sources. That's why it is very important. The others we don't know how they are old really. That's why it is only some interesting. And the Striboš in South Bohemia, it is the village which was exist in 13th and 14th century, and it is not exist in 16th, surely after the sources. That's why it is also quite old place name on toponostic. But it is all, and on the end, it is not speech, but I want to show you some special subject which is a problematic interpretation. It is from it is something circular as something which was decorated very simple, and it has about 85 centimeter in diameter, and it is something as a pedestal base for some small idol or something for some ritual, and it has only one analogy, I think, in Ukraine. In Ukraine maybe it is only rest of something, but one analogy in Slovenia. But I think that I am not sure how it is really in diameter, because there was some smaller picture of it, and it was found in Prague, Hloubětín, and it could be dated to from the end of 6th to half of 8th century. It is something specific. If somebody has some idea about function, some another idea about function of this subject, I will be glad. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much for this wonderful catalog of finds. I just wanted to ask if I may come back to this pendant.
Yeah.
This is from Hluk, right?
Yes,
this is the above
is from Nový Bydžov,
and the middle one is the Baltic, yeah,
Baltic region,
which was sold on eBay. Yeah,
it was on eBay as a Viking thing, but I think it is not Viking. It is something maybe late Merovingian, maybe I'm not sure, but it is not possible to say so simply. Nový Bíčov is the settlement we have here some I think 2 seasons of some prospection with metal detectors, and it is the same place where this fitting or stripe end with the frog and snake was found. After me, it is not frog and snake, but woman with some frog masks and snake, and it is a sexual scene, but the fertility aspect is the same, I think. That's why it is the same place, and it could be dated at all this early medieval fittings to the 8th century. But settlement on the place is also from Roman period. It means from 2 to 4th century, I think.
Okay, I see one hand up.
Loved your lecture as usual. Professor Lübke said in the morning that, you know, that the 2 faiths could have been in one single person. And you have some great examples from your dig in Střešovice, where there were early Christians, but when they were burying the children, then the ritual included some pagan vessels. Would you like to explain?
It's not my excavation. It is the cemetery in Střešovice is excavation of colleague Frolíková. She has some book new about it. That's why it is possible to buy in our institute in Prague. And I am not sure what grave you have in mind. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I thought it was you. It was a grave of it was like early Přemyslovci time of Saint Wenceslav, and when it came to the children, they buried them also with the vessels. So into their laughter.
It is not only in Střešovice. I know it from Klecany, for example, and in Klecany is very important that also in the time of beginning of 10th century there was really infants buried. Every infant baby has its own grave, and it is a standard on this place. One of these infants is before the normal borning, and it has its own small grave.
One more question, if there are any. Okay.
Just a quick question. If I understood correctly, the German name for Rieb Hill was Donnersberg.
In Czech, it's another Rieb is Mount Elon in the plain, but in České Středohoří it is some middle Bohemian mountain. There is a second highest mount. It is Kletečná in Czech, but in German it is Donnersberg. Yeah.
So
another Rieb is Rieb, and it has German etymology, but it is some specific mount with this.
Because obviously Donnersberg recalls the Germanic deity of Donner.
German and Czech, and sometimes we can decide it that German was older or Czech was older, but they lived a lot of German before the war. That's why we have a lot of language names of villages as well as